Welcome to Building the World We Want with Beth Green and my sidekick
James Maynard.
and best friend and husband, James Maynard. I hope you're not hearing that kind of metallic sound outside, but nothing we can do about it. You probably don't hear it.
That's life in the big city.
Now, you may notice that there was no graphic with the name of the show and there was no music. That's because there are so many times when something gets screwed up with it that I can't help. James is my witness. I click on the thing and it doesn't work. So I decided, why stress out over it, right? But the name of the show is, you can see here, if we can't resolve an important challenge, do we just keep trying? So I couldn't get all of that in there, but I got something in. So, welcome everybody. It seems so empty without the music. I don't know. Am I really on?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. So, my name is Beth Green, otherwise known as Granny Rocks.
And once again, James Maynard, otherwise known as Sweet Baby James.
Okay. So, now I really want to talk about something that is important to many of us. If we can't resolve a challenge, should we keep trying? Are we just banging our head against the wall? Are we supposed to give up? And that's the way we typically think of that question. But that isn't the way that I would like to approach the question. And hopefully, this will bring a little interest, a little support to some of you. Something I've been thinking about. Of course, I always seem to do a show on something that I've been thinking about, so, hoping that someone else thinks about it too. So, a lot of times, as I say, we think about it in terms of what is the outcome going to be? Are we going to be successful? Or Amy said, great topic. Thank you, Amy. So glad to. Todd says, hi, Beth and James. Another great topic. Oh, thank you. And Elizabeth says, hello. Hello, Elizabeth. And Amy and Todd, who are here already, thank you so much for showing up. And I don't feel so naked here without the music now that you're here. So I want to approach this in a different way. Now, one of the things that we talked about last time was, I want to do some healing work on this program whenever possible, like give you chi, or, you send me chi, I send you chi. So why don't we start out by sending each other some good vibes, life force, and I can feel it. Oh, and Catalina says, good evening. Yes, very good.
I can feel the chi.
Yeah, I could feel it also. So I want to fill myself up with a little chi before I take on this topic, because I feel a little unprepared, and yet I know where I need to begin. So I've been in a quandary lately about a keyboard, a piano, and so on. Now, this program is not going to be about music. It's going to be about the topic. If we can't resolve an important challenge, do we keep trying? But in my case, it came up around the keyboard and a piano. And I have a gorgeous piano. I love it. It's incredible. It's like world class and all of that. And I have a keyboard that is not. It's very kind of minimal in what it has, but it has something the piano doesn't have. And it has narrow keys, because I have discovered that I have extremely small hands, even for a woman. And now women tend to have more trouble playing pianos because pianos are made for men with big hands. I think I may have mentioned this last week. So I tried to play this keyboard and my back is hurting and this is hurting and that's hurting. And then I had problems with my wrist and I'm thinking, oh, this isn't working. I should go back to the piano. The piano doesn't hurt as much. And it's so much better. So And James actually felt my body and he corroborated that the piano wasn't hurting as much. Well, in the middle, and so I was going to send back this keyboard and just kind of give up and suffer. Um, and I couldn't figure out what to do. I just couldn't resolve the whole issue of should I still play the piano? And I was in tears, feeling like I had to give up playing music altogether. Okay, so this is an example of something I couldn't resolve that had a lot of meaning for me. And last night, in the middle of the night, I woke up, as I often do, obsessing about something. And I thought, maybe all this pain I'm having is not all because of the keyboard. Maybe it's because of the mouse, because I'm using a mouse with this keyboard because I'm using virtual instruments. You don't
On a
have to
computer.
understand any. Yeah, it's all on a computer. There's no internal sounds. That's what makes this keyboard great is that I can use external sounds, virtual sounds, they call them. Don't worry if you don't know what I'm talking about. Just trust me. It's bringing in sounds through my iPad, which is the simplest thing for me to use. And I thought, maybe if I wasn't using the mouse so much, I wouldn't have this much pain. The mouse with the keyboard. And so it occurred to me, maybe actually I'm doing better with this keyboard than with the piano. Well, looking at it, and there's a purpose. I hope that you're going to see in a minute why I'm going through all this with you, especially since you're probably not that interested in these details. But there was a lot involved in using the keyboard that wasn't involved in using the piano. The piano, you just sit down and play. You don't have to push any buttons. You don't have to turn any speakers on. You don't have a laptop. There's nothing. There's no mouse work. And I thought maybe this is the problem. And maybe it isn't just that. Maybe it's all the computer work that I do. And I thought, supposing I figured out a way to cut back on the computer stuff, on the mouse. And would I still have more pain with this keyboard? And what shook me up is for some reason yesterday afternoon, after I played both the piano and the keyboard and was trying to compare them, I went back to the keyboard and I realized honestly how much easier it was to play. Nainggolan Naing Golan. Good morning from Indonesia. Well, good
Good morning to
morning.
you.
How lovely to have you. So happy to have you.
Lovely area. I've been to Indonesia. Wonderful place.
So, so what happens is I faced the fact that when I was playing the keyboard, the keys were very light and the keys were narrow, and my hand fit. All these years I've been playing something that didn't fit my body. And I was going to continue doing that. And I thought, maybe I've got it all wrong. Maybe I need to do less mouse work in general. Maybe I need to start using dictation software. Maybe I need to, uh, not use all of these virtual instruments that I need the mouse to select. I'm not doing such fancy footwork, just make it simple. And today I got up and I had to find out. So, of course, it took a lot of work with the mouse and the computer to get it all set up, but I did. And I had this feeling again that it's easier to play this inexpensive keyboard than my horrendously expensive, gorgeous piano, which sounds absolutely divine. And now that you may not relate to this, but you will in a moment if you understand what I'm saying. I started thinking differently. You see, very often we can't resolve an issue or a challenge because we keep approaching it in the same way, with the same values, with the same expectations, and just like trying to push through. And I know for my body, if I try to push through, it's going to push back. It's going to hurt. And but that's what I tend to do. I just do more of the same. You may do that too. So it isn't whether or not we should keep trying. The real question is whether or not there's other ways of approaching it that we haven't tried yet. Karen says, "Hi, Beth and James," and sends a bunch of hearts.
Hello, Karen.
Hello, Karen. We're glad to see you. So our topic is, if we can't resolve an important challenge, should we keep trying? So what I discovered in this is it seemed like it worked today. Now, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And I gave up my fantasy about another great piano that I desperately wanted. And by the way, we could get narrow keys for the piano, but it would take 9 months. I would lose my piano for 3 months, and we honestly couldn't afford it. It's very expensive. So there's the point. Are we opening our minds to other solutions? Are we allowing ourselves to think about what are our values now? For example, I said to myself, Beth, you're 81 years old, you're chronically ill. You always have been. You've been crippled before playing the piano. This is not the first time that I got crippled playing the piano and had to stop for 60 years. I couldn't play at all. And so I thought, this time I'm going to ask myself, how much better does my body feel when I'm playing these narrow keys? I can't ask that question. It's like, what is the quality of the piano? You know what I mean?
Isn't the sound everything when it comes to music?
Right, exactly. And where's the vibrations that I get from playing the piano? And
Never mind that it wrecks your body.
exactly. And so I thought, yeah, and I realized something else. If this actually were, and it looked like it was working today, I actually played, and I'm going to be hopefully we're going to be able to do our music live stream tomorrow from the new keyboard, because my hand fits it. I can play intervals that everybody on the piano plays, except for me and other children, maybe. You know what I mean? I have a child-sized hand. It's even small for narrow keys. So I thought I could play better. I might not be as crippled and I could play better. What's that worth? Maybe I should start paying attention to my body, which I never did, right? Because there's some perfection in my mind. I have some idea that I'm trying to fit reality to.
And with each passing year, as you age, it gets harder and harder and harder.
Yes,
And
haven't
so,
you noticed
are you going
that?
to keep trying to force yourself into that mold? Or
Yeah.
you're going to shift gears?
Yeah. Are you still going to try to fit into a size 4 dress or whatever it is, or fit my shoes into a size 5 that I used to wear years ago? Now they're like, I can't believe it. It looks like my feet are galoshes. So, and so think about this for yourself. And I would like you to put in the chat. Now, remember, if you are on my personal Facebook page, Beth Green, if you put something in the chat, I will not see it during the show. I'll see it later. Please try to be on the public page, Granny Rocks, the music and message of Beth Green.
Granny Rocks On.
No, the name of the page is Granny Rocks, the music and message of Beth
Oh, I
Green.
see.
But you're right.
Okay.
It's facebook.com/Granny Rocks On, or on the YouTube page in the chat. I'll see it. Think about
It's
something.
Beth Green TV.
Beth Green TV, at Beth Green TV. So think about something you're grappling with. There has got to, I can't be the only one who has unresolved issues. For example, some people have children who are drug addicted and don't know what to do about it. Or there are other things, many things. So there are many different kinds of things that people grapple with that they can't quite find a solution, like, oh, I want to buy a house and I don't have the down payment, or whatever it is. And bring it up, and I'll see if I can help you. But in the meantime, the general idea is, are we thinking outside the box, or are we stuck in some concept that reality has to fit? Todd says, I have been doing the same thing about the computer and using voice to text to do most things. There's a great app called Whisper Flow. So good. So you're also beginning to take care of your body. I had to think differently because I have been so used to typing for so many years. Me too. Me too, Todd. And it's not, what I find is the computer doesn't quite understand me, and then I have to do editing, and then I'm taking out the mouse anyway. But yes, we have to allow that we may have changed, or we have to allow that maybe we haven't changed, but we've just been driving ourselves crazy, or that we have the wrong values. Isn't it more important that I play well? I can play better on an instrument where my left hand doesn't collapse. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's have some uh, thoughts from you. What about you in the meantime, James? Since Todd didn't ask a
Well,
question.
there's another dimension here I'd like to bring in, and that is, okay, so you've been trying and trying and trying to get things working a certain way. And
Yes,
with you, it's in the piano or the keyboard.
yes,
And another dimension that can get in the way and cause you not to succeed is somebody else jamming your airwaves, which I have done with you.
true. Can you
So,
explain that?
yeah, what I mean by that is she and I are in a band together called Kindred Spirits.
And we do our music for um, our times.
Music for Our Times,
Music for
which
our
is on
times
tomorrow night.
Thursday night on the same at Beth Green TV and the same
Yeah.
Facebook page.
And so I get competitive with Beth.
He does.
And if we perform together and people have said, Beth, that was amazing. And James, yeah, that was good too. It bothers me. And whatever. But that's my ego. So forget the ego. The main thing was the music good, right? But tell that to my subconscious.
Right.
Because my subconscious, when it looks like she's getting better, my subconscious starts to suppress her. I'm competing with her, and I want her not to get ahead of me, etc., or get too high, whatever. So you might have that. You people out there might have that going on, say with a mate, where you're trying to do self improvement. There are things you're trying on. You're becoming a different person, a better person, and then your mate doesn't like it because it's changing the power balance between the two of you.
Right. Right. But see, James has another option. He could try to make me play worse and be in constant pain and not be able to play. Or he could support me playing better and going out, and we could perform together out there in the world, because this just so happens this keyboard is light enough for him to pick up,
That's right.
and he could get better himself.
So
He could change. He had to
I've
change.
determined to practice more so
Right.
that as she gets better, I get better, and it's great.
Right.
Then there's nothing to be concerned about.
So Amy said, definitely stuck many times in thinking a situation or relationship should be a certain way instead of working with what really is. But I'd like you guys to come up with something where you need help, where you need some support in making a change, because I can see how much I have, glorified pianos and great pianists. And when I was a little girl, I was studying classical piano. That was the only kind of music there was, as far as I was concerned. I didn't even know about the other kind.
Yeah, your mother said the other kind of music was noise.
Yes,
Pop
she did.
music was
She did.
noise.
But anyway, so I had a certain worship, and I'm sure I have a worship of my own piano. And believe me, it's worth worshiping, but not at the expense of my body. So let's see if somebody can come up with something that they would like our support in. Okay, what is the question? The question is, do you have something that you would like to know whether you should keep trying or whether you should let it go? And is the real question around that keep trying is there some way to think differently about it? So Todd said he had to think differently because he's been used to typing. I think what you have to think differently about is your physical capacities and how old you are. And that's what you had to accept in order to try to change that. Oh, Amy said, okay, I can't seem to get myself to get my home looking nice again. Okay. Well, Now, do you want to give up or do you want to keep trying? I think you want to keep trying. Okay, so the question that I would ask you is what do you have to think differently? How do you need to approach this that would make a difference in the outcome? Because we never know if the outcome is going to be better or worse or different or just the same, right? But at least we can try. So, for example, when I realized that what was important is how well did I play and how, how comfortable am I? There you go. Okay, Amy says she wants to keep trying. Okay, so Amy, I'm asking you, what do you think? What are the obstacles in your mind to doing this? How do you need to maybe think differently or approach it differently that would have a different result? And I'm going to put out some chi to everybody out there to think about this question because I know that we all have these things. Am I being clear enough,
Oh, yes.
James? Okay. Oh, yeah. You don't have to keep trying the same way. It's what do you have to change in your mind, probably in your mind, to make a change. Anyone else? While I'm sending chi, you send chi to me. Let's all just sit here, relax, and feel the good vibrations and trust that we are being supported by the universe. Amy says, I've tried to stop putting myself down about it, but that doesn't seem to make any difference. Very good, Amy. So then there must be something else. Catalina says, should I keep trying to get better from chronic illness or accept the progress I've already made? Well, the first question is, what do you want to do? Do you want to accept the progress you've already made or keep trying to get better? Or do you want to look at getting better from a different perspective? In other words, what I'm saying, it's not always about doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. That exhausts us and gets us nowhere. Is there some different way of looking at yourself, treating your body, approaching your life that might, and again, it's always might, because I don't even know if my keyboard is going to work out tomorrow. I know I'm challenging you. Hey.
Well, you know what? You've been dealing with chronic illness all your life.
I have.
And so you keep trying to discover things that can help.
I do. I do two things at once. So Catalina said, look at getting better from different perspective. Right on. Okay. So what would that be? So I agree, James, chronic illness has plagued me all my life, or blessed me, of course. As a spiritual person, I'm not supposed to say it's a blessing, but I think it's not. But anyway, yes. How do I get better from a different perspective? One way of doing that is to look at, and I'm not trying to abandon you, Amy, but I'm hoping that something will come to you. Looking at getting better from a perspective of not hurting myself rather than fixing myself.
Okay.
So that's a way that I am looking at getting better. For example, I'm more serious about not using the mouse as much, or trying to set up my thing differently, or say I'm going to not do all those incredible instruments that would make people like go, oh my God, listen to that sound. I had to disappoint James. He wanted me to play this other instrument that I have to use the mouse for. And if people say, oh my God, that's so amazing. And I'm saying, who cares? Who cares how amazing it is? What I care about is it hurting me or isn't it? And I need to use the mouse a lot to do that instrument. And in fact, I sent back we are sending back a laptop that we got just to do that. It's like spending all that money we don't have for something that's hurting me. So that was a different perspective. A different perspective is, when am I going to say not hurting myself is more important than producing some outcome that I think is incredible, or that is going to heal people, or is going to whatever it's going to do to people. See, so changing my perspective in a sense as I'm changing my values. So you could look at your body. One possible way, and I'm not saying this is what you should do, but this is just an idea, is to say, how am I hurting myself? Rather than how can I fix myself? And then give a little bit more trust to the body that if I don't hurt myself, maybe my body will know what to do, or uh, do better. So I hope that was helpful. And, you can think about the essence of that for you. And Amy, um, if not putting yourself down about it doesn't make it seem any different, then what might? What is another perspective on it? Anyone else have something they would like help with? In the meantime, let's send each other support. That life force energy that we started channeling last time, that was so awesome, keeps me going, wakes me up. So I'm sending that support to you, and you're sending it back. We can just relax into this, into the pleasure of it. Well, for example, Amy, one thought that comes to mind is, supposing you looked at your house. I mean, I'm not saying this is it. I'm just saying, for example, you looked at your house and you say, what is the corner of this house that I love the most? Where would I like to sit and be, or lie down, or stand? And then, if you can identify some corner of the house, some room, some spot, some 5 inches, whatever it is, say, I would like to make a home for myself there, to make myself comfortable in that one spot. Even if it means picking up the stuff and putting it somewhere else, and say, I would like the pleasure of being in that spot. That's just a possibility that you might consider. Elizabeth said, how can I get enough sleep as I take care of other daily responsibilities? So, what you're saying is, you feel that you can't get enough sleep while you're taking care of other daily responsibilities. That's the problem that you, and what is the approach you have taken to that at this, up to this point? Hopefully you'll be able to get a message to us. You see, this is good because this may share with you an approach to this approach. Say, well, what have I been doing to try to solve this dilemma? Stressing out, cutting out pleasurable things,
Worrying about those
worrying,
responsibilities.
Whatever. What have you done? And then let's take a look at, is there another way of thinking about it? Well, obviously, one thing is that we always can do is we can look at, we can look at the assumptions in the question. What is enough sleep? What is enough sleep? How do I feel? Elizabeth's answer was hum. What is enough sleep? Do I think I'm not, am I getting enough sleep, but I'm freaking out about it and I think I'm not, for example? That's one way of looking at it differently. Or, what about my other daily response? Because I noticed that you say my other daily responsibilities, which is interesting when you said, how can I get enough sleep? Oh, she says, I keep letting go of getting enough sleep. My body feels best if I get 9 hours a night. Well, okay. So you either say, this is sacred, I need 9 hours a night, and nothing else is my main responsibility. Oh, that's when I don't feel tired. Well, I don't know if anybody doesn't feel tired, but you might look at that and say, well, is it okay to feel tired? Is it okay to feel tired sometimes? Is it really necessary for me to get 9 hours sleep so I don't feel tired? Am I really tired or am I only feeling tired? Now, so there's a whole set of questions you can ask yourself. Then the second way of approaching it is say, well, if I really need 9 hours of sleep and that is the bottom line, then that becomes the priority and nothing else is the priority. And so then you figure out how you organize your life around that. Or you can ask yourself, by worrying about this, what am I losing?
Relaxation.
Yes. So, do I need to relax more and not sleep as much as I think I do? How can I relax? How can I let my body relax more? How do I bring myself into a greater state of relaxation? So, I realize that our time is kind of coming to a close. I hope that these examples that we've talked about are triggering some thoughts for you about your life because you see, Elizabeth is making a lot of assumptions about what is best for her body and how much stress is that causing. So, to really examine that and look at tired as a normal thing for a person of your age at times. Is there some other way that you are depriving yourself of energy, like by worrying? That maybe is why you feel tired? Is it so terrible to feel tired? And how can you relax all the rest of the time? And I'd better shut up now because our time has come to an end. But I hope this has been helpful, at least in stimulating your thinking. And it would be interesting to see when you come back next week, if you do, or put some comments later into the show about some things you may have discovered about yourself and your thinking. I hope that this has helped. So do come back tomorrow night and hear us play music for our times, hopefully with a new keyboard, if we can figure out all the logistics and if it all works. And maybe after that, I'll just fall over and drop dead. Oh, Amy said, I can see I'm not very open to other perspectives for whatever reason. Well, that is fabulous. But now that you see that, now you can ask yourself, why am I not open to other perspectives? That's a great step forward right there. So thank you. Oh, Karen says, thank you. I hope this was helpful to you, even though you didn't make any comments yourself or ask any questions. And be very happy to see you again next week, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time on if building the world we want. And Amy says, a bit of mischief, I guess. I love it, Amy. We want laughter, but not necessarily mischief. So tonight I'm ending with this, and there's going to be no music because it's too stressful and it doesn't work. So there she's laughing, and so are we. So thank you for joining us, and thank you.